Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier grants the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. All around you. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for writing reviews. Thank you, Canada. Thank you, South Korea. Thank you, Brazil. Thank you, the Netherlands. Yes, sir. Thank you guys for joining us today on this very special episode.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm joined today by the Spider-Man of, actually, I guess the Spider Lady of Earth 19956.
You can't tell him.
She's here with us today.
Damn.
Her name's not Gwen. Her name's Lucy.
Oh, I guess I'll take that.
Unless you're lying. Is your name Gwen? Gwendola?
Lucy?
Gwenda. What does she go by?
Gwanda? Was it? No.
Yeah.
Gwanda? Something like that, yeah.
Today we are covering perhaps the biggest movie of the year, 2023. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Is this your favorite movie of the year, Gwendola Lucy?
No.
All right. There it is.
Is this your favorite movie?
We thought we had her, but we don't. This is my second favorite movie of the year. Behind Beau's Afraid.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
All right. You enlightened me today.
What did you...
No, what did you... Why is this your second favorite movie of the year?
There's a lot of reasons.
All right.
There's a lot to love about this film.
Okay.
And now I'm more interested in what you have to say.
Nah, why are you turning this back
You're building
on
this
me?
up, and now I need to know, how do we make this movie one of your favorites of the year? So walking into this movie, I thought this movie has a lot, resting on its shoulders. Where is it going to go? Is it just going to be another generic ass animated film? Because the first one was some setup, right?
Yeah.
We got a lot of Miles set up. He was hardly a character. He was learning his powers, which was cool and all. But how are they gonna take this in a very real, adult, urgent, risky kind of way?
Right. You gave us the origin story.
Yep.
Now what?
And I don't think there's ever been such a cool now what in, an action film, I guess, for better lack of words. Especially a Marvel film. This is very easily the best Marvel thing to ever happen.
This is so different in a lot of ways, but yeah, it's way better that it's not even, it shouldn't even be classified as a Marvel film.
And
it's such an outlier that
it's true. And you probably won't have a lot of people compare it to the MCU proper because it is just different. It's not, why would they be on the same playing field? But it's hard to ignore it when we got our boy, Donald Glover, trapped.
That's true.
So it's all canon, right?
It's true, yeah.
Which is it's pretty sick. Because we talked about, a little bit of the origin of Miles in during our talk of Inside the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse. The first one. And, we all know that Donald Glover was a big inspiration of the Miles character. And we saw him make a, more than cameo, but basically a cameo in the Tom Holland one, where he played Aaron Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that apparently he ended up being the Prowler in his universe too, and he got captured, or he got mixed up apparently in some other alternate universe where he got captured, and they're like, all right, I guess you're gonna stay here, and He's just chilling there now. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was funny. That was hilarious.
I want you to tell me what you liked about this film right now.
All right, here's my thoughts. It was a good film. There's nothing wrong with it. It was very cute. It was very good. I mean, artistically, it was, or I guess visually, it was very pleasing. You had a specific type of art style and you switched it up. And we saw a little bit of that in the first one with the different Spidermans of their particular universe, had their own style, and you just further that here. And then on top of that, this isn't a Miles movie. This is a kind of Gwen Miles movie. You know, it's like they're sharing the spotlight. I like that they didn't kiddie, they didn't make this movie a kid movie. Like, they definitely could have. The first one really wasn't, but when you start implementing these, superhero things, especially to an animated film, you can kind of get it a little kiddie down, and they didn't. So I think they did that very well. There were a few places here or there where I think they overdid it on maybe some of the explanations, but it was so quick that it's easy to forgive and easy to ignore. Like, I don't know how many times he gave us the I'm Miles Morales, and I was bitten. I don't know, that little introduction. I think
we got that a little much.
Yeah, like 3 times at least.
And then in addition to the first movie too, we get that like how many times?
Yeah.
They are. I don't know why they're so into that. That must be some Spider-Man thing that we're just not familiar with, where it's just.
And it could be, yeah.
But it's kind of annoying, it being brought up.
But it just happened so quick that I thought it was easy to forgive.
I agree. In this one,
like,
the first one, it was like, I was like, all right, come on, and they sped it up each time.
Yeah.
In the first one, but I was just like, it's like, I don't know, it's weird. I don't like that.
What I was gonna say is that might be one of the kiddie elements to it, that maybe it's something I didn't like, but again, it could be part of the comic, so I don't know. That's a good point. But this movie had fun, and I like that. It also had a lot of plot twists and fucking cliffhanger. That cliffhanger at the end, if that's what you want to call it. I don't know what else to call it besides a fucking rip in my heart.
Yeah, total cliffhanger. I've never seen anything like it.
I know, me either. And I was trying so hard to think of movies that had a similar ending like that, and I couldn't think of any. I could think of movies that you knew were a part 1, so you knew there was obviously a part 2. Like the last Twilight movie, the last Harry Potter movie. I'm sure some Star Wars movies. I don't know if they had part 1, part 2s. But like, the Avengers movies, you knew that was going to end like that. And I didn't know if they promoted this movie that it was going to end in that way. If everyone knew that it was going to have a second part, or if that it was going to end on a cliffhanger like that. And maybe I just didn't know it, but I didn't think so.
Yeah, without reading about it, I don't think you would have known, because I guess this movie was originally just going to be the next movie. There was going to be a 1 and 2, and then this movie just blew up in size so much that they made it a part 1, part 2.
Okay.
So we got kind of the opposite of David Lynch's Dune, where he made the big one, and they were like, no, this is only supposed to be 1, so we're gonna chop it in half here, and here.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this movie had fun. I was there for the fun. They got me at the end. I was so mad. I was just way too mad at the end. Not that it's its fault. Like, I mean, that's awesome that you can get this emotion out of me, and now you're gonna make me go see the next one for sure.
What did you think about so you brought it up a little bit ago that in the first one we got these varied characters and aesthetic and design, right? And mood. Here we got a little more introduced to that, but through different universes. Walk me through what you kind of thought about each of these. They were all fucking sick, I think.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Gwen's had this like weird dynamic kind of color palette based off of the emotion of what was happening in the scene.
Yeah, a lot of darks, a lot of blues.
But then when people would change their emotion, their like the color around them would change and stuff. And it was like, I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome. You know, I didn't expect Gwen to come from a universe like that. You know, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I wish we could have seen more, as much as we saw Gwen's. But Gwen, you know, Gwen, like you said, Gwen is kind of the main character here. She's at least one half of it. And I'd never seen anything in a superhero movie or a movie where you'd expect things to kind of be kiddier, like you were saying too, where we have, you know, Gwen's Peter Parker turn into Lizard Man. What's his name? What is his name?
I don't know.
I know the character, but I don't know the name. Well, I love that our Gwen's Peter Parker turned into the Lizard. I thought that was so fucking cool. And she didn't know that, of course, until after she kills him, right? Yep. Which is cool in its own right, too, because we don't see a lot of death happen in Spider-Man anyways. Or really any superheroes. It's kind of tamed in that way. And then we immediately have to deal with her dealing with that her dad thinks that their Spider-Man, Gwen's Spider-Woman killed Peter Parker because he doesn't know that he was lizard dude.
Yeah.
And her like having that you know, internal conflict of like what, like, you know, how to approach that conversation with her dad. I just never seen anything like it in this kind of movie. It was just awesome. And that's basically what sets the mood for the whole movie, is that initial scene and her basically running away from home. It was so cool. It was so fucking cool. And that's when I knew that this movie was going to be on another level. Now, I was worried that we were going to maybe get too much more of our Nick Cage and our little pig dude and the anime chibi Spider-Man. And we didn't really get anyone from the first movie except Gwen and a little bit of Daddy Spider-Man, which is super cool because that shows a little bit of restraint and it shows a little bit of like actual vision and storytelling. And that we're not going to rest on rest on laurels. Rest on your laurels. Is that the saying?
I have no idea.
I don't know the saying. I'm an idiot. But I guess we're then shortly kind of introduced to this legion of Spider-Men who operate in this realm to keep the universe in order. And I guess it sounds like Miles becoming Spider-Man initiated all of this. Am I getting that right? Or that's what they made it kind of sound like that, because he's the first anomaly. That would imply that he's kind of the reason for this organization to come together.
I don't think so. I don't think that's not how I saw it anyway. I mean, the organization came together because of the first dude, Miguel, right? That he tried to go into another world where he had died. And so he was trying to replace himself so he could have a life with his daughter because he fucked up over here. And then he caused, you know, something that wasn't supposed to happen. He caused that in the other world where we have our you know, what do they call him? Like roughed up Peter? I don't know how they reference him in Wiki. It was funny. They just said older Spider-Man. Okay. You know, our mentor Spider-Man. That's how they know each other, and he helped him kind of avoid that, and that's why that organization started.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that would make more sense, because what I was kind of confused on was, how did they organize this in such a short amount of time? I know time's kind of obviously relative, not kinda, but if it was because of Miles, they would have only had a few years to get things in order. But yeah, that makes more sense, because I feel like that would have been many years before Miles at the very least.
Yeah, I think that organization was founded because of Miguel, but they still came together at this point of time to talk to Miles, I guess, to tell him that he's not Spider-Man. Yeah. He's a fake Spider-Man.
So I did want to say, though, one thing I really liked about this organization that they didn't tell us, I do agree that I feel like they told us some things that they should have just kept closer to the chest and didn't reveal so cut and dry. But one thing I do feel like they kept close to chest was the reason why Miles is not allowed in the Spider-Man organization is because he hasn't experienced the death that he's supposed to experience, whatever that is. Because they also at the same time kind of build up this narrative of him being the enigma, or being the anomaly, I should say. So it's not even really clear if what normally happens to Spider-Man's is going to even happen to him, because he's broken so much of the canon, I guess,
Right.
literally.
Yeah.
So I fucking love that. I think
Yeah.
that's so fucking cool.
That's so creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't fucking believe they made sense in this way. I'm so impressed by that fact that they managed to kind of draw these lines in such a way that they don't spell it out for you. What specifically are you thinking that they spelled out maybe a little too much?
No, I was just I guess when I said that, I was just referring to the whole I'm Miles Morales, and that kind of kind of spelling out for you.
I see.
And redoing over like that element, I guess.
Yeah.
There.
I totally agree with you. I would have really liked that Miles, like, I'm Miles Morales, if they didn't do it 5-6 times in the first one, because they could have had it in the beginning. We could have maybe just not had it at all. I don't know. And then we had it here because, like, yes, this is our Miles. He's figured himself out. He's Spider-Man now. That would have been cool. That would have been a great just punctuation to the first film at the very beginning of this film, and I thought that would have been cool.
Yeah, but they overdid it a little, especially in this film when they said it. I guess it was kind of towards the end where he was escaping from all the other Spidermen. Spidermen,
yeah, I like
Spiderman.
that.
And it's like this really intense scene going on, and he's running. He's like, I'm Miles. Okay, all right, cool. I know. Just keep fucking running. Stop. Okay, you figured yourself out. Cool. We saw that when you escaped, when you blew out of that containment thing. I don't know what to call it. I knew you were Spider-Man, all right? But then you're not really Spider-Man, but you're accepting your Spider-Man. I get it. You don't have to tell me that.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah. That's all I meant by that.
I see. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. There was one thing I can't remember. I should have written it down when we were watching it. There was one thing that I was just like, I think it was...
Was it like an over-explanation?
Yeah, it was a slight over-explanation with Miles. I think this is what it was, when he was like, my dad's about to be captain, or something like that. I was just like, that was like, I don't know, that is something you might say to yourself, but I just felt like it was a little, you're giving me a little too much here. Like, give me a little more performance and less like Miles' dad is about to be captain, reminding us. I was just like, that was almost so emotional, but I got spoon-fed there. I just didn't hit quite right, because we got that to counter that, we got that through a different way when we realize, after the beginning, it's shown to us that Gwen's dad is a cop, about to be captain. That's not really in question yet, but we know that's in the back of our mind that he's a good cop. And then where we see these bits play out and stuff, and it pans over to Gwen, and Gwen, we see her face and everything, and we're just, you are remembered, you are reminded. And then we see Gwen eventually go back, and her dad tells her that he quit, and then they just hug,
Yep.
And she wasn't like, so you're not going to be captain?
Right.
Wasn't like that, it was just, it's so small, it's such a nitpick, but this movie is so emotional that these little spoon feeds just kind of, you've got us. We're paying attention. You've got us by the balls, man.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
They did it so beautiful when he goes to the wrong fucking Earth.
Yeah.
And you said it. You're like, he's in the wrong Earth, and I'm like, no, he's not. I don't know what made you say it. If you just recognized immediately, like, any kind of artistic style change, like, and that's awesome if you did, because I didn't. I'm like, it's just raining over here. I mean, that's the only difference. But then, they told us earlier. They told us that spider was from a different dimension and it was 42 or whatever. And we saw the 42 when he was putting in which Earth he wanted to teleport to or whatever. We saw that and it didn't click in my head. And if it clicked in other people's heads, that's awesome. You're
so quick.
Smart, but it's so quick.
Yeah.
And I don't think at any point someone's like, wait, he put in 42, or what is 42 saying right here?
Yeah.
And it's oh my God, that's done beautiful.
Exactly. It's exactly the same thing where we just, if you're paying attention, we're paying attention. So like, that's just it. We don't need to be, it's just so, it's like when you're doing, like when the teacher's working a problem on the board and you're paying attention and then they go right back through it. It's just like, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stop.
Yeah.
It's just it's like kind of frustrating.
And then in this scenario, it's like, if you're paying attention and you catch on, you're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. But if you're not paying attention and you don't know and then it happens, you're like, oh shit.
It wins on either way because it's like a big reveal.
Exactly. Either way, you win.
Yes.
And you didn't have to spoon feed anybody.
Yes. And I know it's a nitpicky thing to say that, Miles saying that his dad's going to be captain and everything. But yeah, I noticed right away. I didn't notice the number, I guess, immediately. Didn't click in my head. I did see the number, but I forgot it was 42. And then I saw that the art style was a little more... It was like a cross between Miles and Gwen's art style, where it was a little more green. And it reminded me of Gotham. I was like, oh shit. We're somewhere else. And then I was like, oh shit, 42. And I was like, oh shit, that's where the spider is from. So it kind of clicked in my head at that point. As soon as he arrived. And then I was like... The scene was taking so long that I was just like...
And then I told you. I'm like, why would that not be the right one? Like, shut up. You're trying to read into this too much. No. And then we got to the scene where he's like, okay, Mom, I'm Spider-Man. She's like, what are you talking about? Who are you?
And I'm like,
why is she not... Is she playing with him? Like, what's going on? And that's when you said, like...
There's not a Spider-Man here.
Like,
it was so good.
Just started feeding into my brain.
It was so good. And I'm not... I don't know how I feel about... You don't see it too often, but I don't know how I feel about when a scene... you have a character in one place, and then you have another character in another place that you think they're gonna cross over at some point. Like, Gwen was at his other house. Mm-hmm. Right? And you think they're gonna, like, meet at some point, because Gwen was on the outside of the window. We thought she was listening in and stuff, and there was like this back and forth and everything, which helps build the narrative of like, is she in the right place? Are they about to have some kind of convergence? But I feel like you see that in movies, and it kind of builds a false sense of suspense normally. But here, I feel like it's really effective. I don't know yet, though. I don't know how I feel about that. It's not a super common thing you see in film. I don't think we've seen one yet since we've been doing this podcast. But that back and forth, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think if there's a film that I can see that in. Because I do think you see that a lot in, or maybe I'm imagining it, but kind of romantic movies. Where, they're going to do the big reveal of they do love each other or whatever. You kind of see them kind of prepping for it. And then you see the girl, the guy prepping for it, and then the girl prepping for it. And then sometimes they do meet where they're supposed to, and sometimes they don't. They're like, where's so-and-so? Like, well, he went out looking for you. And, that kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I think exactly. It's fun that that's not used in a scenario like that.
Yeah, that's all I'm really thinking of. Just girl-boy thing.
The only other place I could see that fitting is with like when a cop is on to someone's trail.
Yeah.
And he's getting there, and then you see the bad guy, doing his thing, and you think he's still there, and the cop's showing up, and then you find out it's revealed that when the cop shows up, that bad guy's already been gone for several days, to kind of thing, like he's he was on that kind of thing. And so there's like.
I feel like one of the Saw movies does that.
Yeah, maybe. There's something hyper specific about that I like. That's just not used in what you'd expect here, and it's fucking so cool.
Yeah,
so cool. Yeah, and then it's so just the idea of the spider. It's so fucking cool when a film can make the first film so important. Like, the sequel can make the first film so important. How do I say this? It's really cool. Like, how... Like, did you expect the spider to come into play in a major way here?
No.
I know it's not a small part of any Spider-Man story or Spider-Woman story, right? It starts the story.
It is, but it like, it isn't, but it is.
Yeah. And so in a movie like this where we deal with, the Spider-Verse, the multiverse thing where there's thousands and thousands, millions of different Spider-Mans, right? Infinite amount of Spider-Mans. It makes sense that if you were to, I don't know, potentially take one of those spiders out of one universe and there just wasn't a replacement, that there would be no Spider-Man in that universe. And that's such a natural, it's like a natural thought after, I feel like, how am I saying this? It's like, I guess I should say, it's an obvious question after you see it. You're like, oh yeah, what, if there was no spider, what would that universe look like? And we see, in this case, we see like an Arkham style kind of criminal, overrun city by criminals and stuff. And it's just fucking awesome. I don't know how else to put it. It's so cool.
It's like they finished the thought.
Yeah.
Everyone just thinks, okay, there's a spider that gives you the powers. Cool. And they're like, but what if there wasn't? Oh, wow. Okay, what a cool thought. But then what are those consequences? What?
It opens up an infinite number more doors of what if there wasn't Spider-Man, because then that brings the question statistically, if it's an infinite kind of multiverse type situation here, like you might expect, there are just as many universes without a Spider-Man than there are with Spider-Man. And so, like, it's just like, are they all overrun by criminals? Not that even matters here, and it's kind of unimportant, but it like opens up such a mystique to the whole Spider-Verse. I'm just like, now I need to see more. I just need to see more of what the fuck is going on here.
Yeah.
Because we've got different universes that have different Spider-Mans where they're not even Peter Parker too. We have Gwen, of course, and we have Hobbs, and we have Miguel, right? And then of course our Piggy Parker and stuff like that and everything. I've seen the first one and a little bit here, but it helps build a crazy amount of, I don't want to say mystery, but like just kind of a wonder that's just I've never seen in a film that has like canon, like a bigger overarching kind of story like this. And it's so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's so clever.
It's so clever. It's super clever. It doesn't make me want to read the comics or anything, but it does make me curious, like what has happened in the comics,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the comics just because of, it just feels like they reset a lot. I don't like that premise that there's just like different series. I guess I do like the aftermath of it when you can put them all in one movie though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like because it feels like there's just no end game to it. No, no pun intended. But I do love in Earth 42, Universe 42, whatever. He shows up. Yeah, he talks to his mom. She laughs at him. It's awesome. Because you're just like,
what's going on?
Does she care? Because like it's almost like you could see a mom not even knowing that there was a Spider-Man in the universe.
Yes.
It reminded me of how moms and dads will be like, when you think about video games or something, a lot of older people think of video games as still Mario, when in fact video games are arguably one of the most powerful ways to tell a story today. And it's not, of course it's not fucking Mario anymore. So, but it's just, it reminded me of that. Like, so it was like believable that the mom would be like, just laugh at him.
Yeah.
That there is no Spider-Man. Was the mom and Aaron Davis, were they hooking up?
I don't think so.
He was just there because he's part of the fam.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so, but
I was waiting for like a kiss on the cheek or something, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And that whole bit was cool because he was just like, I guess that confirmed to him that I'm not, something's super off here, right? Aaron's still alive. But then we were introduced to their Miles, who is the Prowler, which is so fucking cool. That's so fucking cool. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it.
Yep.
I've never seen a movie like this cool. Like an action, fun movie that's not like super character driven and everything, but this movie is kind of super character driven. This movie is super like history and lore driven. And now you have to like be concerned about Miles, of course, our Miles. But you also have to be concerned about Miles' dad, because he's not protected by Miles. So is he gonna die? Like, that's still uncertain.
Yeah.
It's like a multi-layer cliffhanger too. I can't fucking believe what I watched. I can't believe how good of storytelling this movie managed to pull out for what it is. I couldn't be more impressed.
Yeah, when you have the right world built and you know what you're doing with it, it's such a great start to a great film. And I don't know how many directors and, writers and all the people who participate in a movie, or I guess in the production of a movie, I don't know how much time you spend into building your world, but it just, at this point, it just seems so crucial to do that. And it seems like they did, and then they did it again and again until they knew exactly what they had. And then they had fun with it.
They managed to even take one of the cringiest, most stupid ass shit from the Spider-Man universe and make it hilarious and charming as fuck. And that's when, Miles was, they were like, catch Spider-Man, he's leaving the door or whatever, and then all the Spider-Men start pointing at each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. That's one of it's a meme, so it's already starts to risk the overexposure and cringe, right?
Yes.
But they managed to make it. They managed to pull off with, fuck. Like, I just can't fucking believe it. I was like, holy shit, that is funny. That's good. That's such good shit. And they had this great, chase scene where he's running from all the Spider-Men, and they're all the variants and stuff, and it's just like, this is awesome. I wish we could have gotten more time, maybe, with here and there with just seeing all of the different Spider-Man, because it's very cool seeing all of them together, and it's also very stupid and like weird and like I don't know, this helps build that sense of wonder. Like, how does this come all to be?
Yeah.
Stupid in a good way, I guess. Kind of campy.
If you do it well, it comes off. I don't even know how to, because this could have been another, angsty teen love story. They could have gone there, and they didn't. They showed some fucking restraint there. They made them flirt, and they made them like crush on each other, and he had all these drawings of her, and she missed her friend, and we knew she liked him, but they didn't give us that. They didn't go there, which is awesome. Like, kind of like with the mom and the uncle. Were they hooking up? We don't know, and we don't, like, they don't care. They're not here for that. They're not here to force people to like each other, force people to kiss, the romance. No. We have more important things to do here. And I love that, because in so many films, and, we've covered quite a few movies where it's a forced love story, and it just takes away from the movie, and they didn't do that here, and they could have, because these are angsty teens. They
do like each other,
and we do see the chemistry, and we saw the chemistry in the beginning, in the first movie. So you could have gone there, and it actually wouldn't have been too bad, because you played it up, but you knew what you had, and you knew it wasn't the time for it. So I like that. I like that they had fun and knew what they had.
Yeah, it makes these characters feel conflicted and responsible and real.
Yeah.
Human.
Yeah. So how did you feel about Hobie, Spider-Punk?
Spider-Punk.
British Spider-Man.
He was hard to understand.
Yes.
And they make fun of that a little bit. Of course, that's, I think, pretty normal for a character to make fun of the British person. I like that they made him this like anarchist kind of hedonist type character, and they made him fun. I didn't to a fault. I didn't understand him. I didn't understand him to a fault, but that's okay. He wasn't super essential. His most, his important part was to, who did he give to
Gwen?
He gave it to Gwen. That was kind of his big moment as far as the story goes, and that was cool. And it brings a texture to the Spider-Man that they're not all for one for all kind of thing either.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I know we just really got one kind of non-conformist Spider-Man in that way, but just his presence and his disagreement implies that there must be just a million other Spider-Man disagreements like him. And I know the multiverse kind of thing helps lazily confirm that in a way, but it's so effectively built, the multiverse is, and these characters are, that it works. I'm sold in it. And then it doesn't really matter because it just helps add to this sense of wonder and mystique to this whole Spider-Verse thing. And it's cool. I like Spider-Punk. I do.
Yeah, I wasn't sold. I don't think it helped that I couldn't understand a word that came out of his mouth. And we didn't have subtitles, so I was just, I guess, kind of annoyed. And then this is an animated film, so I can't read his mouth to even attempt to understand what he could have possibly said. So I don't know. I was a bit conflicted on his character. Like, why? Just why did you have to go there? If it was for the joke, okay, I guess. I get it. He played his part. He made Miles a little jelly and gave Gwen the little time dimension bracelet whatever thing. All right. Yeah, all I'm saying is that was a bad choice, but it's a little nitpicky, It doesn't destroy the movie. What about Miguel? How did you feel about Miguel?
Miguel's cool because he helps build this. He adds into this wonder and the Spider-Verse thing because he feels very Prowler-esque.
Yes.
So, and he's kind of got the Prowler little
the sound
too.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, that's weird. And he looks kind of like a bad guy.
Yeah,
So I'm just like, I don't know if I can even trust this guy, but nothing comes of it in the first film. In this film, the Across the Spider-Verse. So I'm just like, yes, this is how you fucking tell a story. This is it. You make all of them important to each other. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's confusing as an audience member because he's Spider-Man, so he's a superhero. But then you give him little Prowler noise bites here. It's like, so are you evil? And then like you said, he looks evil, so you are evil. You're acting evil. You're acting crazy, but you haven't done anything. So I trust you, but you're chasing our boy Miles here, and you're acting kind of like you're about to fucking kill him, no matter what. So are you gonna be evil in the next film, or did you just build up this character so well that I'm trying to categorize him in this good or bad, just drop him there in my mind, but you're trying to tell me here that it's not all like that. Is that what you're doing? Jesus Christ, man. Good job. But the noise just threw me off so much. Like, you're not putting any noise in any of these other Spider-Mans, so.
I know it's conflicting, but I do, one thing I love about his character is he's this champion of we have to uphold the integrity of the canon. And everything has to go according to plan, or else things are going to start getting fucked up. They will. We have, demonstrable evidence for it.
Yeah, but he caused that to himself. That's why he's anal about it. He didn't have this, he didn't have this principle going into his life. He had to learn from his mistake.
Well, I mean, when they're all crazy. That's the awesome thing is, no one's born principled. You have to learn from your mistakes.
But my superheroes are, that's why this dude's so confusing.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Your superheroes often are, but that's one reason that makes things like Spider-Man and Batman kind of more interesting than other superheroes, because they feel like they have actual internal conflict a lot of times, and they're actually fighting for something.
Yeah.
It's the only superheroes I like, these two. Batman and Superman. Get out of here. Spider-Man. Superman is the worst.
Superman is the worst.
Superman's the worst, just like Captain America's the worst. You feel me?
Yes. Yeah. I'm torn there. Black Widow sucks too.
Black Widow does suck.
Hawkeye
sucks. The MCU, I'm just gonna say,
No, not the MCU. Whoa. We're not going all the way there.
My bad. Too far.
Too far. But what about our villain? How cool was he? Or did you not think he was cool as fuck?
I thought he was so... I thought he was just they did... That's what I'm saying, man. They set up this villain of the day so fucking perfectly. He was the villain of the day, but he's so determined.
Yes.
He's not going to be just a villain of the day, and now he's an actual fucking problem.
Yes.
And it's awesome. It's so awesome, because I thought we had, they did such a good job, because, they set him up, convenience store, he's robbing a convenience store, he is the villain of the day, okay.
Yeah.
And then he gets thrown into himself, and we're having to, it feels like, I don't know about you, but it felt like to me that, okay, he's stuck. He's going to have to figure his way out of this,
right.
And it's going to take potentially forever.
Yes.
No worries here. He's way more capable than you could ever imagine. And it's awesome. I was just like, what the fuck? Because his power is cool, but his power only gets cooler and cooler as we see him develop.
I like that.
And I'm just like, excuse me? And I'm like, this whole time, I've never even heard of this motherfucker in my life in the Spider-Man universe. Spot? Is that what they called him?
Yeah, Spot.
I love it. I love that they took this, I don't even know if he's like I hear a villain from the comics. I'm sure he probably is. I can only imagine how many villains there are from the comics.
I think he is from the comics, and they originally weren't going to use him.
They say who they're going to use originally?
I didn't see. If they did, I didn't pay attention, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess the person who was trying to convince everybody was like, no, hear me out. This is where I think this could go.
I can't even see another villain making sense in a multiverse type thing.
Yes.
Because most villains are so flat. You know what I mean? Like, they just kind of live within New York, and they are dealt with by our Spider-Man. And it's one thing I like about the game that's about to come out. We're dealing with this villain called the Kraven, I think, and he's this hunter who hunts. He hunts the biggest animals. He hunts like big bad guys and stuff or whatever. And he's just kind of this guy who works on his own, doesn't really have any agenda other than like trying to prove that he's the best hunter and killer in the world. And he's the main bad guy in the new Spider-Man game. And it's just like, that's like kind of like, I don't know if you'll know exactly, but remember the movie Prey that we watched about the new Predator movie?
Yep.
Yeah, that's their kind of whole shtick too, is the Predators is they go all across the universe to hunt the best of the best hunters in the world, right? See what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so we kind of have this thing happen in the Spider-Man world, and I'm just like, what? This is awesome. Kraven's probably huge in the comics too, so I'm just able to, so I just appreciate him because he feels new and fresh. But I love Spot. And I love his voice acting kind of matches his initial appearance, and it like slowly becomes this. It slowly starts to feel like that he's even becoming a little in over his head or something, but he's just kind of running away with power, and it's just, I don't know, it's perfect. It's so good. I can't believe how good this movie is.
Yeah, with Spot, I think he was awesome. Like, I'm sorry, you have spots that you can travel through space with. Okay, that's fucking awesome. And then it develops, and it's like, okay, now you can travel dimensions. Oh, it's even better. Oh my god. Like, I mean, you said it. They just built him up so well. And I like that, he's kind of in the first movie because Miles threw a fucking bagel at him. And then that's how he got his powers, and that's why he hates him. And like, that's so...
And he made Miles in a way. He brought the spider.
He brought the spider from another
Earth 42.
Oh, okay.
And so they made each other, in a sense.
That's funny. That's funny. What was I saying?
Oh, sorry. You're saying about them being this movie and the first one being connected?
No, I just think it's funny we saw him in there. You didn't know the guy Miles threw a bagel at was going to be the villain in the next one? Who thinks that? And it's so funny. It's just so funny.
Little things like that force the audience, or at least me, to be more attentive, to pay attention to every littlest detail, Because, who fucking was... What? The bagel guy?
Is that the scientist that Miles threw a bagel at in the first movie?
How?
What?
What little things happened here that might become a bigger deal in the next movie?
Oh, I bet so many.
It is. I've never seen a vision like this, man. Because in things like Guardians of the Galaxy, they're kind of separate stories, right? We see our characters develop, we fall in love with them, we understand what happens in between the stories, and it kind of shuffles things up and makes the dynamics a little different and everything, and it's cool and how it all plays out. But this is like basically a part 1, part 2, part 3, all happening in the same kind of month type thing, They could have all just been one 6-hour movie.
Yeah.
Basically. And it's so fucking cool. It's so fucking cool. And I just love that they can overlap so many things from the first movie and this movie. I just love that so much. I feel like I've never seen that in a film quite like this. Because, I don't know, I just think of things like Harry Potter, where we have the objective in the film, and then at the end of the movie, all right, end of the year, we can all go home, or whatever, and we just kind of are waiting for the next thing. But things have been brewing all along in these, and I guess that's true, too, for Harry Potter, especially because of Voldemort happening in the background and everything, but until Voldemort shows up, really, in a big deal at the end of they're in the 5th one. He doesn't feel very present, right? When you say in the movies.
Yeah, that's probably the difference there, because you do see this in books. You're like, oh shit, that's the thing from the first book. And maybe that's something that's missed when directors or screenwriters take the, source material and ignore those little small details, as they would probably say, or not important things, when they could be if you read it right, maybe, or if you read it more than once.
Yeah. I mean, certainly it might be a fault of the directors and screenwriters for sure, and not having the confidence and vision to, see this thing through. Unlike these guys could not be more all in. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's missed in films for sure, to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, hopefully we see some kind of renaissance, I guess would imply that there was originally one, but some kind of reformation in how big storytelling can happen. Like in the new Harry Potter is going to be a show, so it's going to be inherently a little more interconnected. Hopefully it's good. I assume it's going to be very good.
It better.
I think it may not be that bold of a thing to say, but I think the HBO Harry Potter show is going to be the biggest show ever. And how many people watch, the quality of show. Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to make Game of Thrones look like it was walking, so Harry Potter could run.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I think they're going to have much more vision and direction and confidence and worth to take things with Harry Potter than they did with Game of Thrones. And that partially helps. It partially helps that J.K. Rowling's done with the Harry Potter series. So, unfortunately for HBO, our boy George R.R. Martin hates his fans. I mean,
obviously,
or likes watching them suffer. Maybe maybe
oh,
not
shit.
hate. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. It's done. The Band-Aid was pulled off. I don't give a fuck anymore about it. What do you think about the Italian Renaissance vulture dude? That was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess that's where we got a little bit of our first. That's where we got a little bit of our first introduction to all of these
other Spider-Men.
Yeah, but like these, I guess, villains and characters from other worlds, other dimensions.
Yeah.
And he was made out of wood or something?
Yeah.
It was so cool. And you're like, what is going on? And then that's where we have our first, or I guess that's where we meet Miguel and Mama Spider-Man.
Spider-Mama.
Spider-Mama. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Da Vinci-esque vulture. Thought he was cool. Because just another... Is it self-indulgent at this point? I don't know. It's so just good that it's kind of hard to call it self-indulgent because it doesn't really tap into... It knows exactly what it is and it knows exactly how to tell its story. So it's just adding a little more artistic flair to it is just, I think, welcome. To me, I'm just along for the ride. I don't know if I can even... I don't know if they can do any wrong in that way. Until they do, of course, and then I won't be the first one to say something, but I liked it. I liked it.
Two of my favorite scenes were, I guess the first one was when they were arguing at the dad's party, promotional party or whatever, and the DJ turned up the music. I thought that was hilarious. That's so tiny, so clever, and it cracked me up. He's like, well, I'm just going to turn this up so nobody hears you guys arguing. And then they argue louder. He's like, all right, I give up. And then he turns it down so everybody can listen.
Or was it the end of the song? That's how I took it.
Oh, it was the end of the
song ended and he was like, oh, fuck. He was like, my bad.
That was so funny. And then my other favorite scene was when Miles was talking to that girl. Was it Spiderbite? I think her name was Margot. And they were kind of, flirting a little bit, or she was kind of flirting with him. And then Gwen was like, come back here. And she webbed him to her. Like she got jelly. It was so funny.
Was that in the Indian Manhattan bit?
No, that's when they were in the headquarters place. She was the chick that...
Oh, yeah.
She was like she had an avatar.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, I guess.
Yeah. I know you're talking about.
Yeah. She's the one that actually helped him escape and didn't push the destroy button, for lack of better words. Yeah. And they were talking and stuff. And then she was walking away and he wasn't following. She's like, what the fuck? And then she spiderwebs him.
That's funny.
It was so funny. I'm like, did you just see that? You see what she just did? I saw what she just did.
And little bits like that help build the love narrative. That's just, it really should be, on the back burner because there's much bigger problems here, right? We're dealing with space-time and the whole Spider-Verse kind of thing. My favorite part of the movie was probably, as far as visually kind of striking and just fun scenes, was when they went to the Indian Manhattan with the Indian Spider-Man. I thought that was so fucking cool. And he had that little yo-yo type thing. That shit was so cool.
Yeah, that was funny. That was just, you wanted some comedic relief, I guess, of some sort. Here it is, and it was done very, very, very well.
And then we find out a little bit after that Miles, I guess, continues to fuck up the canon directly and indirectly by saving, people who aren't supposed to be saved. And it's just god damn.
Yeah, he saved Indian Spider-Man's father-in-law. He's like, thank you, man. Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
What do you think about the voice acting? Anything other than Hobie? Hobie, what's his name?
I think it's Hobie.
Hobie. Other than him not being understood completely.
Yeah, other than that, I think they did a phenomenal job. I think they got the right people for the right character. Everybody's voice fit to their character. Nobody threw me off besides Hobie. But that was just for lack of understanding whatever the fuck he said. He could have said something so profound or something hilarious, and it went over my head. So
no, I completely agree. I'm actually really surprised at how good the voice acting is here. The voice acting is not very good in most animated films, and it's awesome here. Especially, I'm gonna butcher his name, but Shamik Moore, who plays Miles, and then Haley Steinfeld, who sucks normally, but she's awesome here as Gwen. And then shout out to Brian Tyree Henry, of course, my boy Paperboy.
Yeah.
Atlanta's probably my favorite show. I think I've decided ever. Just gonna go ahead and put it on the record.
All right, it's out there.
Atlanta. I'm not done with it yet. I got a couple more episodes, but another bit I liked with Miles and Gwen was when Gwen was leaving, and she was, kind of looking back at where Miles and them were, and Miles was there, invisible. It's kind of weird that they don't sense Miles when he's invisible with all their Spidey senses and shit. Maybe he's just that good, which is believable. It's believable. It's fine.
Or he's not Spider-Man.
Or he's not Spider-Man.
He's fake Spider-Man.
He's fake Spider-Man. Okay. And that whole bit is nice and emotional. I do like that Spot. Even though his power is growing, his mindset isn't. He still just wants to get revenge on Miles. Even though he's this intergalactic, interdimensional kind of being now, and he's traveling all about and getting all this power, he still just wants to come and kill Miles' dad. It's like, okay, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's funny. And, I mean, that's kind of a villain trait. That's how you know you're a villain. Like, your weapon might grow, your muscles might grow, your, spots might grow, but your mind's not growing. You're still a fucking child. And that's when you have your villains turn into good guys, when they actually do have some maturity and self-development growth there. So
Yeah. No, yeah.
That's clever. That's funny.
I like that.
Never really thought about villains having mental growth.
And because I think it gets a little messy and out of control when a villain like Thanos or something just wants to, do these really ambitious things. Thanos isn't really a great example because he's not really a villain, I don't think. He's just kind of an environmentalist and really concerned about the universe to the nth+1 degree, and so he thinks making the ultimate sacrifice is a necessary one.
I'm sorry, Thanos is a villain.
He sort of is, because he's still, kind of abusive and destroys planets for no reason. Or for a little reason.
Sacrificed his daughter?
Yeah, there's a little bit of villainous to him for sure, but I feel like he's still an environmentalist at heart, and I see to that.
I'm not going to.
You don't agree?
I'm not going to agree that Thanos is not a villain. although, I wouldn't mind half the population
disappearing.
Just I wish I'd got to pick who gets disappeared.
Yeah.
Which I guess that makes me more of a villain than him. He's like, it don't matter who it is, it's just half, it's all fair.
Exactly.
And I'm like, no, I'm picking which motherfuckers get erased.
Exactly.
But nah, that's the only positive here about Thanos.
I like that we have this setup where Spot and Miles kind of make each other, and then it gets a little bit furthered where Miles pushes Spot into himself, which allows him access to all these other dimensions and allows him to grow. Miles kind of pushed him into that, which then furthers Miles into. Well, I guess it doesn't really further Miles' story, does it? Because he follows Gwen. But I do like that he kind of was the catalyst again into Spot's villainhood.
Well, I guess you could say it does further how'd you phrase that? Catalyst? is a catalyst to Miles's story, because maybe not.
Because one of my favorite things about this movie is that Spot and Miles' story is really not all that important, as we kind of been saying about the romance between Miles and Gwen. That the villain here is the ultimate villain here is kind of anything that's jeopardizing the canon, which is Miles himself. So he's kind of he's kind of a villain himself.
Yeah, I'd probably have to think about that a little bit, but that makes sense.
Did you get the feeling that, did we say this a minute ago? Did you get the feeling that Miles couldn't join until his dad died?
Yeah, I got the feeling that he wasn't able to be part of this club until he had experienced
the ultimate loss
for like the everyone else. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, how can you not get that feeling when you're having all these flashbacks from all these other Spider-Men experiencing that? Because who was it? Was it Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man that we saw?
I think so, yeah.
Or it was supposed to be? I don't know. That didn't look like Andrew Garfield to me, but if it was supposed to be, I guess it is.
Yeah, you said that when we were watching, I was like, I think so. I was like, I don't know. I thought it was his Ben, him and his Ben, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But that was funny, because it was almost like he was blurred. Like it was like a hint of, yeah, this is Andrew Garfield, but we're not going to show Andrew Garfield kind of deal. But maybe that was just me. It's like, wait, that doesn't look like him.
Do you think the next, like, Tom Holland Spider-Mans are gonna have anything to do with the multiverse?
I think so, just because of how playful Spider-Man is. With the Tom Holland Spider-Man, they brought Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and they made them all, save the world, save Tom Holland's Earth, I guess. So they're already very playful films, and we don't even have to say how playful this film is. So it would completely make sense for there to be a kind of crossover there. And I think it would be very possible because it fits. It wouldn't be anything forced. They set it up so perfectly that it's very, very possible.
Why am I more okay with all these Spider-Men getting together in some capacity than the Avengers? I hate that all these other superheroes are piling up in it, because it makes the universe feel so small. But this makes it feel like it makes the mini Spider-Men make the universe feel much bigger. What is that?
That is a personal problem, my friend.
Because like when we have the Avengers things going on, it's like, Iron Man's problem or Captain America's problem or whatever, and it's just like, why don't you just call your friends? You know what I mean? Like, just to solve the fucking problem, or the new Ant-Man movie with the big-headed dude. It's like, why don't you just call your Avenger friends and solve the problem? There's none of these, almost all of the standalones are just complete non-issues, because you just call your buddies and they show up and you fucking save the day. Because nothing can be as big as bad as Thanos, right? Or very few things can, right? Otherwise, the universe would be in a really fucking big predicament. It feels so like there's just nothing at risk ever, and it's just all the other movies are pointless and stuff. But when we have a multiverse where all these Spider-Mans are connected and in story, but they're not in the same universe, so they can't just cross over so easily, that it feels more, it doesn't hurt the size, or the size of the universe just really isn't in question, because it's just a non-issue, because our Miles has to deal with Miles' problems. He can't rely on all the Spider-Men showing up. But Iron Man can, because he lives with Captain America. He's like his fucking roommate. You know what I'm saying? It's a fucking issue for me. I don't like that. I wish Iron Man just lived in Iron Man world. There were no other superheroes. There were no other nothing. And he just had to deal with Iron Man problems. Is that a funny thing?
I mean, I don't think that's completely true. They live on different parts of the world, and they do their own thing. And sometimes, Hulk can't come because Hulk is, still stuck in that thing over there, or Thor is in his separate god world. And I guess Thor makes a little more sense because he's not from Earth, so he's somewhere else. So it makes sense for him not to be able to come help because he's doing god things. I don't know what Thor does really. So yeah, but I get what you're saying, and I bet the Avenger films are some of the better films just because they have all of them together like that. So that's kind of why I don't want to completely agree that it makes it feel smaller, because those are my favorite films, the Avengers. But I do agree that the Spider-Man movies, all these other Spider-Men, they're doing a way better job of, mingling with each other. But I just think they're just doing a better job. They're just making it more fun.
Yeah, they have I guess, to give it up to the Marvel guys, the MCU guys, that the animated Spider-Man guys, the Spider-Verse trilogy has a technically less ambitious story to tell, because it's going to be told across 3 films. It's not going to be told across, God, how many, MCU films, right? So to give them some slack, the MCU, it's, I know I cannot, I would not want to write for the MCU because, what film are they on? Probably 60 or so.
Yeah.
So it's, And I'm sure the comic faces some of this too. The comics. It just feeds into my whole thing about, like, at some point they just reset, I think. I mean, I guess I don't really know, but it seems like they just reset and come up with a new Spider-Man or a new timeline or whatever. And it's like, well, then it makes everything else before kind of for nothing, other than, I guess, entertainment, which is fine. That's,
Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about the comics. I don't even think I've ever opened any of the superhero comics. So
I did notice the video game, the Insomniac Spider-Man in across the Spider-Verse. I saw him there.
That's cool. I like that.
There was rumors that Tom Holland was going to show up in this, so we all know what that means. He's going to be the next one.
Yep.
I also saw that a leak happened. I don't know. I don't even want to read into it because I don't want to believe it. And I hope you don't even know what this game is, so you just can't be disgusted. But have you ever heard of Jak and Daxter? Jak and Daxter, I should say. Early 2000s.
I don't know. Maybe I've heard you say it before, but no. I don't know.
It's the series that the Crash guys made after Crash. Okay. And I just saw that Chris Pratt and Tom Holland were signed to voice the 2 characters. I would assume it'd be an animated film because they're not human. Mm-hmm. They're like, it's like a weird looking elf looking dude and like a weasel. Jak and Daxter, that's what they are. Jack's the elf looking dude and Daxter's the weasel. I'm not looking forward to that if that's real. That hurts. Well, my friend, I liked this film very much. Very much. What would you give this on your letterbox?
I'd probably give this like a 3.5.
What would have brought this movie up for you? Talking about this movie didn't bring it up for you?
No. It really didn't. I don't know what's missing. I'm missing something.
Is it the part 2?
Maybe I'm just so over that cliffhanger that I'm like, no, screw you guys. But no. I don't think so. I feel like something's missing for me. I don't know what. Maybe it's hard for me to fully appreciate some of the art, like the art style changes. Cuz it's definitely really cool, but that's it. It's just cool. I don't maybe because I'm not an animator or have seen anyone do anything remotely like that with animation that I can't appreciate it, maybe. And maybe I didn't get enough of the villain too. I wish I would have gotten more villain.
Okay.
But God, I hope I get more villain in the next one, I thought he was pretty cool. So I think there's like little bits and pieces here and there that just didn't quite do it for me.
I see. Well, you'll be probably not all that surprised to know that this that this film might be the highest rated film of the year with a 4.5 overall.
4.5?
Yeah,
Wow.
overall. With over 1 million marks, million reviewers. So it's pretty nuts.
That's pretty impressive, actually. And it's not a bad film. There's so much good there that, I don't know, just something wasn't in it for me specifically. Not that it was a bad film or anything, or, you know, maybe they just didn't give me what I want. I don't know. I don't know.
You might need to sit on it for a few weeks, few months or something.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I need to rewatch it.
I hear that. And I will say, too, after watching this film, I like the first one a little bit more. It kind of had the reverse effect, where it solidified the origin story for me, that we have a complete story to tell, and that was the first act. Or it's hard to call it a first act, because this is definitely not act 2 in the same kind of sense, because we are dealing with a part 1, part 2 here, where they're just I assume they're gonna be side by side, run right into each other.
Yeah.
But
although I could definitely see myself, when the next movie comes out, maybe watching these in a row or something, and maybe fully appreciating the big picture. So yeah, I need to sit on it, because I can't fault it.
I'm with you. I can't. I don't think I can give it more than a 4 out of 5, just because it doesn't speak to me on maybe a similar thing where it's just not giving you what you need out of a film to love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as stupid as that may sound, but I need the whale kind of deep study of an individual out of a film over an ambitious story. And it's just, because it's what I want out of film.
Yeah, like, this is just as an ambitious story and fun and adventurous as maybe the Dungeons and Dragons. Was it Honor Among Thieves?
Yeah.
It was that I had a lot of fun with that film too. So, did I get enough villain there? Not really. Did I get enough? I don't know. I don't really know what I like in films besides big monsters and something trying to eat me. So I got to figure that out.
And
maybe.
Shit making you cry.
And shit making me cry, exactly. So
you're crying in the next one.
Oh no.
Who's dying?
No one.
Who's
no
dying
one is
in the
dying.
second one?
No one is dying.
I mean, the third one.
No, his dad is not dying. His mom's not dying. Miles is not dying. Gwen's not dying. Miles? Is Miles dying? Like, Earth 42 miles? Is that what you're saying here? He's gotta die.
Earth 42 miles?
Yeah.
I don't think he's dying. I don't think Earth 42 miles is dying.
Is Tom Holland dying?
Maybe in his
I
films.
don't know who's dying. Yeah, maybe the next one someone dies and I'm gonna give it a 5. The movie's gonna be a 5.
Yeah, I
because I'm sure I'm gonna get way more villain
in the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it's gonna be a risky telling, because battle scenes are they're quick. They can't last a whole story arc, a whole dialogue. They're gonna be no more than 10 minutes to them at the most, right? Setup of the battle, aftermath, 10 minutes. So I hope we get a lot out of Spot. Hope we get a lot more out of him, because he's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I think his mom's dying.
What?
Yeah, I think Miles' mom is gonna die.
Is that
That's gonna be the twist, because he's an anomaly.
No.
Maybe. I don't know. I had to think about it.
No.
That's what my gut tells me.
That's so sad.
Or maybe Gwen sacrifices herself to save his dad or his mom. If Gwen's dying, it's gonna be through sacrifice, and then if someone's just dying, it's his mom. She's just dying.
What if no one dies and it's a happy ending? The end.
Yeah, I don't know. I won't like it, I guess.
I will.
I guess Spot's dying. Spot's definitely dying. Or Spot's being contained, probably, or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if he kills Spot really, but he's gonna be done. We're gonna wrap him up. I guess that's obvious. I mean, but yeah, I think his mom's dying. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I was surprised again. I was surprised by the first film. I'm surprised here. I have little faith in mainstream films, of course.
Of course. Marvel, of course.
Yeah, I'm not even including those. Mainstream as in Evil Dead Rise, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. I'm adding to your list.
Oh yeah. Is Bo's Afraid mainstream?
No.
Okay. Because it feels kind of mainstream because Ari Aster is so important to the reason I like films. He feels kind of mainstream in my head, but no.
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, the Money's Made would also say the same thing. That movie is not mainstream.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, any final thoughts?
Yeah, when we were watching the film, you said that there wasn't a date yet for the next film. And
yeah.
Something about the strike.
Yeah, the strike is somewhat postponing this. We haven't. It looks like it's probably going to come out next year, but I guess depending on how long the strike is, could kind of dictate that. But it's definitely happened here and then between the next 12 to 18 months. Oh, I guess it depends on the strike though. Still.
All right. Well, I hope the strike doesn't interfere with it because I need to watch the next one. I need to watch the next one immediately after I watch this one.
Yeah.
So I can't wait that long.
I had no idea we were going to get that kind of drop, man. That kind of cliffhanger.
So I guess if there's a petition out there I need to sign or anything,
let us know.
Let us know.
Yeah, man. Well, how much do you think this movie cost to make?
100. Right on the dot. I think the first one was 90 million. So I wanted to up this one to 110. But it just seemed too much. So I'm gonna just go even with 100.
Well, it says here on the Wikipedia that the budget is $100 million. You win.
What? No way.
Yeah, it does.
No way.
Right on the money, man. Did you cheat? You a cheater?
I'm not a cheater.
You sound suspicious as fuck.
I always sound suspicious. That's cool.
Good job, man.
Thank you.
Good job.
I thought it was gonna be 110, but it just seemed too much for an animated film. And then of course it has to be more than 90.
It's gotta be a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah.
Than the first one, for sure.
Thank you.
This movie has gone on to make $686 million so far. I could see it floating up to that 700. I assume it's in a lot of theaters still. It's a pretty big deal, but it made a lot of money.
Good job.
The first one did pretty good too. So hopefully this renaissance somewhat in animation continues, and we see a lot of really great animated films come out of this.
Yeah, good job, people, animators out there. Good job this year.
Yeah, and get back to work. Fuck that strike.
Exactly.
Maybe be a little more appreciative.
Suck it up. If I can suck it up, you can suck it up.
It's for real. I mean, do you guys even need to live in LA? I mean,
don't you care about your audience?
Yeah.
But that's cool. Is this gonna surpass Mario? It hasn't already.
No. The only film that has any kind of chance of passing Mario is Barbie.
Oh.
I'll give you an update. Barbie is sitting at 1.2 billion.
Oh.
It's about 150 million shy. It has tapered off crazy. Mario did not taper off this fast. It had a little bit of Mario didn't make the $1 billion as fast, but the tail was fatter than what Barbie seems to have. And so it looks like Barbie is going to take Mario, but I guess anything could happen. I can't believe Barbie crossed $1 billion. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, that movie was definitely overhyped. People just went to go watch it because of the name Barbie, not because of what the movie had to say.
Yeah, and the internet phenomenon nature of it too. It's just...
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's so much, cool merch out there.
Yeah. They did an amazing job marketing this movie. Yes.
And
the new Barbie Crocs are awesome.
they're fucking awesome.
Yes, man. And the skates, of course, too.
The skates, oh my god. And I've seen some like really cool jackets, and none of it has anything to do with what the movie was about. You could have just relaunched, a Barbie like 100th anniversary or whatever they're on now. I don't know how old Barbie is. And come out with all this cool merch, and people still would have bought it and still would have loved it, just because Barbie is so iconic and so loved. So it's just silly to attach this film to that. It's not even fair. Doesn't do it any justice. Not doing the film justice. It doesn't do Barbie brand justice. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's on track to being... Barbie is on track to being the highest grossing Warner Brothers film of all time. Only behind one of the Harry Potter films.
It's already behind?
That's the highest grossing film. I can't remember which one it was.
Probably the last one.
Yeah, probably.
I wonder if part 1 or part 2, but probably one of the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah. One of the Harry Potter film is the highest grossing Warner Brothers film.
Well, it better stay that way.
I know, right?
Stop
come on,
going to see Barbie.
For real. Yeah, I want to see Mario Land to stay on top. I want that.
Yeah, I don't want Barbie to surpass it. If there's a movie that's going to surpass it, I want it to be this one, into, or what is it? Across? I want it to be Across the Spider-Verse. I want it to be the Meg 2. I want it to be, Cocaine Bear, not Barbie.
Meg 2 is sitting at $265 million.
Wah, wah, wah.
How many weeks has it been?
I think it's just been 1 week, right? No, 2 weeks. Is this the third weekend?
August 4th. Okay.
Not great. Okay.
That's not awesome. That's not as good as the first one.
No.
Yeah. It's going to be up in the air, isn't it? If we get a Meg 3. Because if we're entering the third week under 300 million, that the tail is already, in motion. They might see another 100 million over the course of the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know if that's going to be enough.
What's in third?
Third place is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, good job. They deserve it.
And then fourth is Fast X, Fast 10, Fast and Furious.
Ugh.
And then 5 is Spider-Man.
Right.
And then 6 is Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer will definitely become number 5. Everything is said and done.
Like at the end of the year? Or what do you mean?
In a few more weeks.
Few more weeks?
Yeah, because I think Spider-Man's done. I don't think they're going to be able to take Fast 10. Because I don't even know. I don't think they're in theaters anymore. The new Spider-Man film. It's been like 3 months. So I think that was it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So Oppenheimer only needs to make 20 million more, and after this weekend, that'll probably be up. So it'll be number 5, which is cool. So, and when we're rated number 7, and then blah, blah, blah. Well, man, thank you for watching this film with me.
You're welcome.
And thank you for watching the next film with me.
You're welcome.
And thank you guys for listening to this episode. Hope you got something out of this. Did you get something out of this? A little something?
Yes.
Good. I want an essay on that, 5 pages by tomorrow. Whatever that is. Single space.
It's why does he think Miles' mom is gonna die? That's my essay. That's my essay title.
It's gonna be sad, isn't it?
It's gonna be so sad. You're gonna see teardrops all over it.
Well, hope you guys enjoying this episode of the Filmsteins. You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday for new episodes on new movies, old movies, classic movies, fake movies, make-believe movies, requested movies, indie movies, invisible movies, whatever you got. We're watching them. Come listen to our episodes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or at Patreon at patreon.com/Filmsteins, and leave us nice reviews and comments and posts everywhere you go on Reddit and the Patreon proper, and say nice things or not. I don't really care.
I care.
You want nice things to be said?
Yeah, say nice things.
Okay. Say nice things for Lucy. She needs it.
Thank you.
Until next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon, at patreon.com/Filmistines, and follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching and keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines, signing off.